Thanks for joining us today. You're listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to moving to another country, brought to you by SDC International Shipping, LA's finest. An international move is exciting. It's a time to start over, establish a new business, maybe reestablish family ties, or retire where your budget will do more for you. Or maybe just the weather is more to your liking. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you have any questions about your international move, please give us a call at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962. All right, well, today we're going to talk a little bit about moving and shipping your household goods to Spain. Now, it is true that more Americans are deciding to move to and relocate to Spain. And moving to Spain can be a great decision for people because it does offer a lower cost of living, easy access to other EU countries. It has beautiful cities for people from all walks of life. However, the process of shipping your household to Spain can be daunting, which is why it's important to work with an experienced and reputable international shipping company. So as with most things in life, everything starts out with the planning process. Maybe you're thinking about it a little bit or you've been toying with it for years, but you haven't quite pulled the trigger on an international move yet because it can seem very daunting. However, people do this every day and it can be straightforward if you have all your preparations in place and you're working with the right partner. If you work with an experienced, reputable, and responsible international shipping company like SDC, the process can be seamless. SDC, for example, is a top-tier international moving company that will guide you every step of the way from start to finish. Now, one of the things you want to look for in a top-tier door-to-door international moving company is, of course, expertise and experience. The company that you work with should be very experienced and have all the expertise necessary to navigate all of the elements that come along with completing a trouble-free shipment from the U.S. to Spain. Failure to work with a company that is truly knowledgeable and experienced can result in a very unpleasant and negative outcome. Now, SDC has been moving household goods and personal effects to Spain for clients now for over 20 years. They have a dedicated support team that will work with you from the booking to the delivery that's door to door. Shipping household goods and personal effects from or to Spain from the U.S. is often confused with being simple. Now, if all your T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and you're working with a very experienced shipping company, it can be. So from door to door, that includes navigating customs in Spain. So you'll be guided through that process. SDC will stay in communication and advise you on things like the paperwork, the documents that are needed in order to make sure customs are cleared at the port of entry in Spain. And further, SDC will also deliver your belongings to your new residence or wherever your delivery location happens to be. Next, you want to look for things like online reviews. Now, online reviews are a funny thing. They can be bought. So I suggest you always go to a reputable review service where you can tell that are real people. 100% all 5-star reviews isn't realistic. And even in the review world, there are companies that will hire people to give positive and both negative reviews. So I trust services like Yelp or Trustpilot, but just take some time and read through the reviews. And that way you have a better understanding of whoever it is that you're considering working with. And my advice is only work with companies that have at least a 4+ star ratings on sites like Yelp and Google and Trustpilot. Next comes a visual survey, a question and answer meeting with your shipper. Because when it comes to getting a quote for an international move, it's important for the moving company to completely understand what it is they're working with. I mean, think about if the roles were reversed and you were trying to give a price for moving someone. but you didn't know what the contents of their home looked like. You didn't know what the contents of the garage looked like, what types of cars were there. If you have things stored away in your attic, or there's other things that you have maybe in a self-storage unit somewhere else. All of these things need to be taken into consideration in order for anyone, whether it's a professional mover or someone just like an individual, to give a intelligent estimate. You absolutely positively need a visual survey. Now, there are things to watch out for, and I'm going to just touch on these briefly, but you do want to keep these things in mind. There is such a thing as a moving broker. Now, a broker is different from what we might call a proper moving company, so you need to be careful when you're looking for a moving company to help you with a move to Spain, because there are companies out there that say they're a moving company, but they're actually just brokers. They may make it seem like they specialize in moves to Spain, but it's not always the case. They gain people's trust and they book the move, and then what happens is they hire a third-party company to do the move at the lowest cost possible. And it's even possible for the third-party company to hire another outsider to help. So the best way to avoid this is to make sure that you're working with an actual international moving company. And if you check out the reviews, you'll see that that's one of the top complaints. Someone hired what they thought was a big name company, but actually they were hiring a broker, and they discovered that a little bit too late. So you don't want to get caught in a situation like that. Next is a low ball price, and then maybe you're familiar with the term bait and switch. Beware of a low quote. No matter whatever it is that you want to quote on in life, really think about it for a minute. Have you ever seen a new car advertised starting as low as, and then you go there and you find out that it's just a very base model and it's not going to fit you, and by the time you have all of the things added that you want, which seem very basic to you, then the price becomes 40% higher or 50% higher. Now, SDC, when it comes to international moving, has been at this for a very long time. And we know that too often the lowest quoted price may ultimately end up being the most costly. It may be a red flag when a shipping company quickly just jumps in there and gives you a quote, often quoting lower than others, but they don't actually take the time to see what your inventory is and to ask the questions about what your individual needs are. And then, surprise, all of these costs begin to add up on the back end. At SDC, we strive to thoroughly understand all of your needs and expectations, and then from there, a clear professional quote can be provided to you that's based on many years of experience, shipping relationships, and efficiencies allowed. Next, upfront deposits. Beware of any company that requires an upfront cash deposit. A credit card authorization, maybe as security, is fine, but an actual deposit of cash money can be a red flag. SDC International Shipping does not require upfront deposits, nor do we charge a credit card fee upfront for 99% of our jobs. The next thing, coming back to reviews again, consistently poor online reviews. Just as you should look for an international moving and shipping company that has outstanding online reviews, the opposite, of course, is just as important. Look to Yelp and Google to understand what others have said about the company that you're considering. And then finally, again, going back to a proposal, a lack of a comprehensive professional proposal. Again, it's another red flag. SDC will provide you with a comprehensive professional proposal for your shipment to Spain. And this will spell out, let me say this one more time, this will spell out precisely what service is being quoted. For example, you have door to door, you have door to port, you have port to port, and so on. So all of the elements which are included, as well as any which are not included, will be clearly stated in writing. Be very cautious of any company that does not provide you with such a proposal. Now, we can look at some of the top destinations in Spain today. Every country has cities with a larger or large expat population. And when it comes to Spain, such destinations may include Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Seville, Marbella, just to name a few. Let me talk about the shipping process. SDC International Shipping is, in my opinion, the best choice when it comes to selecting an international mover to Spain, because we're going to take the extra time right in the beginning to fully understand what your needs are. And this really does help everyone. It helps us because it helps to reduce or even eliminate surprise charges or other potential troubles. From there, the process, depending on the desired level of service, maybe you want door-to-door or just door-to-port, and then you'll pick everything up at the port, or port-to-door or port-to-port, air freight, and so on. All of this is handled by SDC International Shipping. So that is from your point of origin, where we're picking everything up, all the way to your desired end destination. As an example, let's consider a full household move using ocean shipping from door to door, including full professional packing, wrapping, and protecting of your household goods. So the process starts, like I said before, with a visual survey in order to get to know each other better, and for SDC to understand what a client's needs, what an individual or family's needs and inventory look like. And this is also an opportunity to answer whatever questions the client may have. And this is very important because sometimes a visual survey isn't possible. In this case, it's important for SDC to fully understand what your needs are. Sometimes we use pictures, or in certain cases, we simply agree on an amount and a service. This can also be done online through different apps where you can show what it is that you have and how you want certain things handled, or any questions or concerns that you may have. Then after the survey is completed and analyzed professionally, SDC Shipping will then provide a professional quote as the next step. And this quote will clearly explain all of the elements of the move that are included, as well as those which are not or may not be. Then if everything looks good, the next step would be for your SDC International Shipping relocation specialist to provide you with something called an order of service, which is an actionable document which, once booked, initiates the entire process of your move from the United States to Spain. Next, internal support and logistics. We have a team that gets involved, and they will help with the move to Spain. They are assigned to you, and this specialist will provide ongoing, constant guidance. Request whatever proper documents or paperwork that may be required, and this person will stay with you from the start to the finish. It's not just an individual, it's a logistics team, but you'll have connection with an actual person, not just somebody different each and every time, or you don't know who you're talking with. So, okay, from there we have the packing, the wrapping and protecting, and the pickup. So sometimes this packing and pickup is done on the same day. Sometimes for larger or more complex jobs, packing, wrapping, protecting, and prepping can be a 1 to 3 day job before the actual pickup and loading. Next, we move on to the shipping. The next step is to ship your household inventory. From there, we go to customs. Now, unless otherwise requested, SDC International Shipping will clear customs at the destination port of entry. This is where things get really exciting for you, because you are this close to your move from the United States to Spain, or we're talking about Spain today, wherever it is that you happen to be going. But long before this point, your SDC International Shipping specialist will have taken care of all of the necessary paperwork. This way, customs and clearing customs is usually just a simple formality. And finally, the completion. So unless otherwise requested, SDC International Shipping will deliver your household goods to your destination, to your residence, wherever you want these items delivered. And the furniture can be reassembled if applicable, unwrapped, placed wherever you'd like it. If you wanted to do that part yourself, of course, that's up to you. All the boxes will be delivered to the room or area of your home that you wish. And from there, everything is cleaned up, the trash and all of that is removed, and you begin your new adventure in Spain. Okay, let's talk about necessary documents. SDC's International Shipping Logistics and Support team works with you, handling all of the necessary documents to ship your household goods, clear U.S. and customs in Spain, and to your new residents in Spain. So the question comes up, well, what can't I ship from the U.S. to Spain along with my household goods? So if you attempt to ship a prohibited item into Spain, that can most definitely derail your plans or worse. So keep in mind that some items are outright banned, like illegal drugs, for example, of course, while other items may only be restricted and require additional paperwork to have that approval for import. So consult your SDC International Shipping specialist for specific information regarding what can, may, or cannot be shipped as part of your household goods shipment to Spain. Here's just an example of some restricted or prohibited items. Food, specifically meat or meat products, milk or other dairy products, plant products such as flowers or fruits or vegetables or other plants. Also, there are some medications and cosmetics that may require a prescription or certificate of some kind. Then we have banned items like firearms, ammunition, unapproved fireworks, narcotics, obscene or pornographic materials. You can find a more or less complete list online if you Google Customs Guide for Spain and check out and see if you want to go down the list of the banned or prohibited items in more detail. Now, let's talk a little bit about packing and protecting your household goods. First, we have the standard service. SDC International Shipping by default will wrap and protect all of your furniture items. This includes items that would not normally be boxed, like a desk, a sofa, dining room tables, credenzas, beds, and things like that. Next, there is the enhanced protection for delicate or specialty items like marble tops, glass statues, china cabinets, and things like that. The mandate is very simple. We want to make sure that we do everything in our power so that your items arrive in the same condition in which they left, and we are experts at making that happen. Now, when it comes to packing boxes, you have three options. Number one, you can have SDC do everything for you from start to finish. Number two, you may decide you'd rather self-pack or partially pack some of the boxes. And either way, you will have an inventory list that either you create or that's created for you, or a combination of this. And three, there's the hybrid where maybe you want to pack most of your boxes, but there's some delicate items that you would rather have packed by a professional. For example, you're going to pack most of the boxes, but you would rather have SDC pack framed art, wall art, TVs, fine china, and things like this. This is very common. When we look at things like framed art, we can pack framed art for you. Alternatively, you may choose to pack art yourself. But just so you know, SDC has also moved entire art exhibits internationally. So this is something that we're very well familiar with. And then there's the white glove service. If needed, SDC International can have a whole team of packing experts pack and unpack, and just you can get the whole white glove service if you like. Now, things like art, pianos, billiard tables, sculptures, collectible items, all of those things really need to be handled, in my opinion, by an experienced, knowledgeable, and capable shipper. And you don't want to have somebody starting out cutting their teeth using you as their test subject. Absolutely. So, there's different ways to ship. There's by ocean and by air. Going to Spain, of course, air is going to be faster, more expensive, and there's shipping by ocean. Household shipments to destinations outside of North America are usually shipped by ocean freight. And the benefit is that ocean freight is a more economical mode of shipping. But the downside is that the total transit time is longer. So we can help you look at both options. Maybe some things are shipped by way of ocean, others by air. For a single move, it really is common to have a combination of both, part by ocean and part by air. Now, shipping your car to Spain, that's not a problem. We do have a team of expert personnel who know this process very well and can ship your vehicle as part of your household goods shipment to Spain. Vehicles are sometimes shipped by themselves without a container, and this is known as roll-on, roll-off, or ro-ro. So no matter what your need, we do have a solution to shipping your vehicle to Spain. Now, there is some required documentation. For example, you'll need the original title, the bill of sale if that's applicable, an EIN or a passport. With shipping a motorcycle, it's very similar. Of course, motorcycle is smaller, but you can ship this as part of your household goods shipment, and ownership documents, of course, are going to be required. They're similar to that of your automobile. So go ahead and consult with an SDC shipping relocation specialist, and they'll give you the full details on that. What about your pets? Of course, your pets can go with you on your move to Spain. They're part of your family. This is a very realistic, very common thing, and we have a team of pet experts who really do take charge of making your pets feel comfortable and safe during the transport. We also use planes to bring them to their desired destination fast and stress-free. So you don't have to worry about an animal getting sick on this long ocean voyage. And there are specific criteria and requirements to impet your port to Spain, and that includes ensuring that all forms and health certificates, vaccination records are submitted before boarding. Moving to Spain with pets is reasonably simple. There are not many vaccinations required. Proof of rabies vaccination, of course, is required in all cases. And one important side note here, your pet must be at least 3 months of age to enter into Spain. And this is due to the fact that animals under the age of 90 days are not able to be vaccinated against rabies. Let's talk briefly about insurance. There is maritime insurance. And so SDC offers both total loss as well as full coverage insurance options, which cover your possessions from door to door. Now, full coverage means that if one item in a box is damaged, that will be covered. Total loss is different. Total loss means the boat sinks and you lose everything. But it doesn't mean that you're going to have a single item in a box or a crate covered if something happens to it. Total loss means just that. It means total loss. Everything is lost. Whereas full coverage means every single item that's being shipped is going to be covered. And you can call us 888-779-3962 if you want specific details about that. All right, finally, let's talk about healthcare in Spain. This is a broad topic. It could be a podcast episode in and of itself. I think that if I had to give one single piece of advice with the information that's available to me, I would have to say that there are benefits to having a private global health insurance plan, because even though English is widespread in Spain, there's no guarantee that an expat seeking care through the public healthcare system is going to have an English-speaking doctor or nurse. But by using private health insurance, an expat in need is all but guaranteed access to bilingual or multilingual staff members. Plus, private healthcare facilities are more comfortable and they have a greater emphasis or put a greater emphasis on things like patient privacy, rest and recuperation, and things like that. I hate to compare it to public transit versus private transit, but just by using those words, you kind of get the idea. Now, a U.S. citizen can get health care in Spain, but Spain does not offer free medical treatment to visitors. And under the European rules, a non-EU citizen is required to have travel medical insurance covering emergency medical hospitalization and things like that. Now, all permanent residents of Spain are eligible to enroll in the national health system. However, this does not mean that a long-term visa holder will receive care. Here's what you need to know about the application process. The first steps towards gaining healthcare insurance for foreigners in Spain is to have healthcare insurance. I know it sounds like circular thinking, but in order to get a residence or work visa, a would-be expat must demonstrate that they carry private health insurance. And the same thing applies to students who are not from the EU. So this is so they will not be a burden to the state and arrive in Spain ill or not having adequate coverage to provide for their care should they fall ill or get severely sick. The process of obtaining a residence permit can be expedited by visiting a local parish council office, and they will issue a certificate confirming that you have more than 90 days of residency in Spain. And then from there, the next step for an expat would be to obtain, I don't know how you pronounce it exactly in Spanish, but it's the equivalent of a social security number. And if you were employed, employers will usually do this on behalf of their employees. But if you're self-employed, then this is something that you need to do. Let me see if I can pronounce this. Numero de contributi, something like that. That's their equivalent of the social security number. Once you have that number and you have a residency permit, then you can go to your local health services center, and when you're there, you fill out an application and you'll receive a health care card, and that's what's necessary for accessing the public healthcare system. All of that because, as I said earlier, there's a benefit to getting a private global health insurance plan right up front, right before you get there, which makes doing everything else much easier. So this is not, legal advice, insurance advice. I'm just giving you the facts, and you'll have to do your own research on that yourself, and whatever you feel comfortable doing, because everyone's situation is different when it comes to healthcare. So to summarize the entire topic, one of the first steps in planning a move to Spain is to research and to apply for the appropriate visa. There's several types of visa available for those moving to Spain. You can get a student visa, a work visa, and a resident visa. And once you've obtained the appropriate visa, you can begin the process of finding a place to live. And this may involve searching for an apartment, a house to rent, something like that, or even purchasing property in Spain if you're in a position to do that. It's also important to familiarize yourself with the local culture and customs, including language and the social norms. And this can be done by researching online or talking to people who've already moved to Spain. So feel free to contact us and to ask any questions you may have if you're planning this kind of move. So I think that's about all for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to connecting with you. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for listening. Whether you're relocating within the country or moving to the other side of the world, we're here to help from start to finish. Connect with us today at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962.